Aber trotzdem ist die Frage, was brauchen wir an Wissen, ja, vielleicht auch an Rahmenbedingungen, um, vielleicht nicht so erfolgreich wie Sie, ja, aber ich sage mal, Pflege doch neu zu gestalten und neu zu denken. Ich glaube, das ist nicht nur für uns im süddeutschen Raum bedeutsam, sondern das ist wirklich, also das wird Europa zum Teil sicher auch die Welt bewegen in den nächsten Jahrzehnten, und da brauchen wir nochmal ganz andere Lösungen, wie die bisher so angedacht sind. Wir brauchen wirklich neue Ideen in diesem Zusammenhang. Ja, also von daher haben wir heute die Möglichkeit, das im Originalton zu hören, und darauf freuen wir uns sehr. Wir haben die Möglichkeit zu lernen, mal bei Ihnen ein bisschen nachzuhören und auch Fragen mit Ihnen zu diskutieren. Und daher gilt natürlich mein besonderer Gruß Ihnen, Jos de Blok. Wir freuen uns wirklich sehr, dass wir Sie hierher locken konnten. Ja. Ich will mein Grußwort enden lassen, tatsächlich nochmal mit dem Dank. Ja. Alles wäre nicht gelungen, wenn Herr Professor Kern nicht in seiner nachdrücklichen Art und mit großer Motivation immer wieder dafür Sorge trägt, dass diese Weiterdenkertagung mit spannenden Themen gefüllt wird und natürlich dann auch jeweils die Verbindungen knüpft, ja, die man braucht, um so hochkarätig das Podium und die Referenten besetzen zu können.
Lieber Herr Dekan, verehrte Gäste, lieber Jos de Blok, ganz herzlichen Dank. Ich möchte Jos de Blok die Zeit nicht stehlen, Ihnen das Vergnügen nicht, ihn live zu hören. Ja, viele kennen ihn aus dem Internet oder sowas Ähnliches, aber live ist halt noch viel besser. Ich hatte heute Morgen sogar die Chance, mit ihm fast Täter Seite an Seite im Auto vom Flughafen hierher zu fahren. Und er hat mir verraten, weil wir haben ja, und dass Sie das auch einordnen können, die Veranstaltung findet deshalb statt, weil der Masterstudiengang Management im Sozial- und Gesundheitswesen 18 Jahre Geburtstag feiert. Also die Frage, wie man Management betreibt, wie man Management gestaltet, wie man Unternehmen gestaltet, wie man Mitarbeiter motiviert, wie Mitarbeiter aus sich heraus motiviert arbeiten, hat er gesagt, da muss man mal den Masterstudiengang ein bisschen nachsteuern. Deswegen freuen wir uns. Und Masterstudenten sind ganz viele da und Absolventen auch. Deswegen, das ist quasi eine weitere Fortbildung für unseren berufsbegleitenden Masterstudiengang, der, wie Sie da an der Wand sehen, schon viele Karrierewege hier über die Region hinaus letztendlich möglich machte. Viele Personen in Funktionen hier in der Region sind aus dem Masterstudiengang berufsbegleitenden Master hier an der Hochschule. Deswegen ganz herzlichen Dank, dass Sie da sind. Lieber Jos de Blok, it's your floor. Thank you that you're with us. Great having you.
Dankeschön für die schöne Worte. My German is not good enough to do this presentation in German. I had German for 7 years. But if you don't use it, is it now? Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it. I come from this Catholic family. Two of my brothers are nurses. I became a nurse, and I worked for 15 years as a nurse, most of the time as community health nurse. So in several places in the 80s of the last century. And at that moment I had a lot of autonomy. I could decide myself about everything in my daily work. So I had some colleagues. At the end of the year we had a meeting with the local board at the Chinese restaurant, and then they said, how are you doing? And we said, we are doing fine, and that was the year report. Good, that's a little bit of history that you understand where it comes from. I was also inspired by a German book I think it was not German, it was Franz Kafka was Swiss or not? Was it German? It was okay. Der Prozess. I read it when I was 16, and the main person in this book was Joseph K. So my name is also Joseph. So I identified myself with this person, and I said, this is what systems can do with people. So, and it always was in my mind that what I learned throughout the years is that if we create systems which are not connected with people anymore, things happen what we don't want to happen. If you look at the results in home care 2006 when we started, there are a lot of similarities, I think, with the German system. So the fragmentation, focusing on tasks, led to frustrated nurses and frustrated patients. There were patients, sometimes people with dementia, who got 30 to 40 different people at their house in 1 month. There was even one patient in Amsterdam who wrote all the names on the backside of his door. And in 1 year he came on 150 names, different people. And there is research that when you have to deal as a patient with more than 7 people, then you lose control. So it's that if we want to give people control, we have to focus on continuity of people. So as less as possible people in the house of these patients. In 2007, at the end of 2006, as I said, I resigned in 2006, and what a lot of people don't know is that I first tried to implement this model in other organizations. So I had 7 organizations. I worked as a consultant, and I tried to implement it in this organization, but every time when we started to talk about changing the management structure or moving the managers, it didn't work. So they said, no, we like the part of the nursing, but we don't like it. So I said, then I earned the money to start this foundation. So my competitors financed Buurtzorg. And then at the end of 2006, I started the first team with 4 nurses, and I started also to work again as a nurse. So I started, I did all the evening shifts and the weekend shifts to reduce the cost, because when you start a small company, we wanted to be independent. So we said we don't want to have investors, we just want to be paid by the health insurance, and we want to cover our costs. So I created a model, a business model, a very simple business model. I studied this 2-year economics, so there was enough to build a business model. So you don't need to finish the school. So therefore the education level has to be quite high. So we are working with 70% are registered nurses. And the average in Holland with the home care organization is around 20%. So that we have to. So, and I will show you later that by reducing the overhead costs, we could spend the money on high educated nurses. So this is what's happening. Every month we have 50 to 100 new nurses who are applying for jobs. We don't do any marketing. So we got, in 2009, I believe, we got the prize for the best marketing in healthcare. And I said, but we don't do marketing. I said, yeah, everybody's talking about you doing so good marketing. So I went to this conference for getting the prize, and they asked me to give a lecture on. So I said, okay, very nice that you give me the prize, but we don't do marketing. And the last slide was marketing budget €0. And it was a school for marketing, so they were not very happy with marketing. Then we want a change in policy about domestic care, because the focus was on cleaning houses. They said no, the focus should be on supporting people. So that's what's changed in the policy and ministry. Okay, then we say, okay, then we can see what we can do. So we took over 2,400 workers, most of them without education. We set together in meetings, 24 meetings, 100 per time. And then we put them around tables of 10. And we said, you are living together in the same neighborhood. Do you think you can organize your work yourself? Before that, they had 6 management layers in the organization before. So we said, we only want you, not the 6 layers. And if you can organize everything yourself, then it's fine. They started to work from 24th of April to 25th in self-organized teams. And everything went well. no problems. We had a crisis team, but they didn't have to do anything. So everything was solved by the teams. We raised their salaries because they were very badly paid, and it became the most profitable part of the organization. So by raising the salaries. So that's a very important economical principle we should learn from. But because the years before, the salaries almost every year decreased. So when you focus, when your service is cleaning, and you say, okay, we are paying for the cleaning, then it sounds logic. But when the focus is on supporting people, and by supporting the people in a way that you avoid unnecessary costs, then the total cost decreases. So, but it took quite a long time for health insurers and municipalities to understand this. So it's all very simple, and it's all, we started with 2 or 3 people and built on that. And every time asked people at the back office, what do we need to do to stay small? So, and when we were growing so fast, the assumption is, okay, we need another colleague. But then they said, oh no, perhaps if we do it this way, or if we optimize this part, then we can still do it with the same people. So it created a culture at the office that said, one, we have to be supportive to the teams, so the teams need to feel that we are there for them. And the other thing is, okay, we have to avoid unnecessary things. And even, there was a part what I just said about the domestic care. We had 2 people who came from the other organization before and didn't fit in the culture. When they left, a lot of things went much easier. And so they had 2 people leaving on 7. And you should think that the pressure goes up, but the pressure went down. If you have the wrong people, that can create a lot of noise and problems. Then some results. So from the start, we had an idea that we had to find ways to invite our stakeholders in the system to understand what we were doing. So we said, perhaps we should do research on quality, on satisfaction, on costs. So we started to work with the different institutions. One on quality, they measured from the start the highest quality in the country. So even we have now, at the moment we have 9.3, you can check it on your mobile, because it's all open and all of that. It's kind of a way of giving reviews. And it's also funny to see that all over the country we have the same outcome, the same results. So it's not that in the south it's worse. Then we had discussions about the stress for the nurses. There were a lot of organizations were telling, by organizing this way, it must lead to a lot of stress for nurses, because they have to decide every day about the things. And in our organization, we have all these managers, and they are educated for it. So we started to participate in the yearly research for best employer, and we became best employer of Holland 5 years in a row. We still are always one of the 3 in the top 3. So, and it was funny. One of my colleagues made 3 pages of reasons why not to go to start working for Buurtzorg. So 3 pages. So I thought it was quite an amazing achievement. But then his nurses started to find out on the internet what Buurtzorg was. And then in groups they stepped over to Buurtzorg. So I sent a thank you letter to this colleague. This is our vision, but this is the way we build it. So we said we should focus on empowering people. So everything we do, we should do it with the idea that it's contributing to and increasing the strength of people. So in healthcare, it's an important thing. It's very easy as a professional to take over. And even when it's very difficult for patients to understand what's really happening with them if somebody is helping them. Helping doesn't always mean that it's good. So focus on people's strengths, avoiding unnecessary care. So when it's possible, make yourself not needed anymore. So that's our goal. And that's also creating a lot of inspiring things. So the daily work, it's much different when you're doing this than when you're delivering tasks. So I will come to an example, which is, I think, a very wonderful example. So we said we work together with informal networks, so the family, volunteers, and we work together with the formal networks in the community. And we focus on self-management of occupation. So a lot of organizations have all kinds of control systems. And it's so part of our mindset that we even don't see it anymore. But we try to control people. And the risk thinking, if you have too many lawyers, for example, then you have problems. So the risk thinking and the financial perspective on things, that creates all kind of behavior which is creating distrust. So my business should build on trust. And every nurse, I expect from every nurse, and I understand, that they just start every day with wanting to do the best possible things. So then the complexity is another important thing. When things become complex, you hire consultants to deal with the complexity, and then things become more complex. So that's usually what you see, and we have a lot of complexity in organizations. What has a big effect on the people who are delivering the care. These are all different services we started from 2007. So we have now the most fast growing is the psychiatry, which of T stands for therapy. So we have psychiatrists, psychiatric nurses, psychologists working in teams in the neighborhood and doing treatments at home. So it's like taking people out of their environment and putting them in an institution don't create solutions. So it even makes sometimes things worse. So that if we treat people at home, we also treat them in their environment, then the outcome will be much better. So even one of the health insurers in Holland asked us to become the disruptor of mental care in Holland. We made a contract together. It's another important topic what's going on. We make conscious contracts now with our health insurance. So that we are not enemies anymore, they trust us, so we build trust there. So we sit together with the delegation of the health insurance. And it's, this is supported by someone who was a former lawyer, who says we should not look at this from a legal perspective, but from the healthcare perspective. So what do we want to achieve? Good healthcare. What are the main topics? That's what we write down. 6 pages, and in one of the contracts we said, what do we when we don't agree with each other? And then we said, have written down, then we sit together with a good glass of wine. And we are the only agreement in healthcare where this is mentioned as a solution. So sitting together with a good glass of wine. The only discussion we had was about who has the best wine. But this one was very important. When we started, we worked together with Ernst & Young. So we said we are going to beat the system with its own patterns. So we said if financials are so important, then we show them that we have a lot of savings in the system when we work this way. So Ernst & Young was the first one in 2009, who showed that the hours spent was 40% less than the average home care. In 2014, the ministry asked KPMG to do research and compared Buurtzorg with all the other home care providers. It was 35%. But throughout the years you saw that it became less the difference because a lot of other organizations started to work the same way. So we work together with the government, with the inspection, work together with all the political parties. The left party said it's a good model because it's based on solidarity. And the right party said it's good, it's very entrepreneurial. So this one was a very special one, and it's the walker race. And the walker race started with one old lady who was 86, and she said there are competitions for everybody, but not for us elderly behind walkers. So Marjolein, a nurse in Amsterdam, said, okay, we're going to organize this. And in 2010, she organized it in Amsterdam, West Park. And it was in the news, and I was Saturday morning, I was reading the newspaper, and there was a big picture of 2 ladies behind the walks. I didn't know about it. So, and I phoned Marjolein and said, wonderful what you're doing. Yeah, I sent you emails, and she said, you go on, it's a good idea. That's usually what I say. And now it became a national event. So from 2010 they started to all kind of do pre-competitions in every village all over the country. So they're mobilizing people, volunteers. They're training a few times a week, people behind the walkers. And then one time per year in the Olympic Stadium in Amsterdam, we have this yearly event, and they train for the 400 meters, 800 meters, they got medals. And the oldest one was 104. So, and it's amazing to see what's happening. It costs nothing. So it's just, and if you look at what the impact is in mobility and in creating social networks and so on. So this is a beautiful thing to see. We have all kind of other innovations. If you want to know more about it, just phone me or whatever. Or